for the child, all that stuff, it happens. My dear sisters, and of course my dear brothers, don't be harsh on the children when they're little. However much you love them, do not be harsh on your children. Because you know what it does? At that particular moment, when you're being harsh, the child sees a different monster. He loses the mum. He wants to see the mum, but he sees a different monster. Never heard you speak like that when you speak in love. Or the father for that matter. But mums mainly because, they do tend to think that, they love their child like so much they love their child, they have the right to get angry. Yes, you have the right to get angry. We all have the right to get angry. But with children, you've got to be specifically careful what you say, how you react. Because that moment will affect that child. Even if that moment lasts 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Sometimes it can last an hour. And that is a disaster for the child. For a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, that has a psychological impact on the child. So don't put your own child through that. And we all know that this is all about love, and children can be really, really annoying at times. But this is why you're a mother and a father, because you have to have the patience and the perseverance to take care of that moment in a wise manner. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And the other important thing when the child is less than 7 is Islam does not recommend organized schooling. To send them to school and make them study through books and memorize things and all that. 0 to 7, Islam says, or narrations says that, and a lot of psychologists have said that it's the most creative stage of a child, and he needs a lot of love and free to be creative, to express himself or herself through art, drawing, by creating things, breaking things, all that stuff. So he needs or she needs the opportunity to be able to do that, and that opportunity is freely available at home. That's the only place the opportunity is freely available for the child, at least it should be at least, so that they can do things at their own pace and whatever they want to do. And that is a responsibility of parents, to give them that space, give them that freedom, play with them, encourage them to play. And doesn't mean that they're not learning. Child, as I mentioned before in the previous lectures, is a sponge. The environment, the sponge will absorb it. Whatever environment you give it. However, as wise parents, and wise is the critical word here, as wise parents, we have to give them the situation so that they learn. Whatever we want to teach them, we teach them in such a manner that they look forward to it. There was a time when I was studying sales and marketing management. And I remember this, so I'm just going to relate this. And one of the definitions for, in the first class, they said, what is the definition of selling? So, one of the definitions given was, you tell a person to go to hell in such a manner that they look forward to it. That's how selling is. Well, it's it was a tongue-in-cheek comment. But what I'm trying to say is that you teach your child in such a manner that they feel that they wanted to learn this. It's not about you imposing your way of teaching to that child. That will not work in the long run. At that moment, he might listen to you, but he'll go away from it. And he'll feel put off by that kind of teaching, whatever subject you want to teach him. Play with them. Playing is the main thing between 0 to 7. So that they gain confidence, they gain the psychological and emotional stability that they need at that stage. And that is what the problem is in these war-torn countries, you see. Children are the most affected. And once children are affected, they grow to be disturbed people. And that is what we need to be careful about. That we have the opportunity in our country here to give our children the best start we can. There's no excuse for us. The only problem is us as parents. So we have to make sure that we're very, very calm and collected and playful with our children. Now, I won't go deeper than this, on this at the moment, but I must add here that a lot of Western countries, especially in Scandinavia, Norway and Sweden, they have actually adopted the system of not sending children to school before the age of 7. Because what it does is, once you start memorizing things, you're actually copying something. And your own faculties of creativity start getting stunted at that stage. And, later on there are more opportunities in our country especially. But we don't want to give our children a situation where, they have to go back and start relearn stuff. Let us use the Islamic model of giving a free rein to our children with love in our homes, And the parents are the best teachers. Now, from 7 to 11, the child has been given a good grounding, is ready to absorb learning from other things, from books, what we call organized schooling, learn other things and other subjects. He's ready to face society because emotionally he's strong and stable because mom and dad have done their jobs. And again, everything I'll say is don't be harsh on the child. It is now the responsibility, well, it was the responsibility of the father even before to give the child a good name, good etiquettes, good manners, teach them good manners, and teach them certain things, certain skills that are needed for life. So, you've got to teach them where you live in the society, the skills that are required. And teach them some martial arts, some physical exercise. Even if you don't know, put them through something. So that physically they are stronger. They learn to be physically aware of their bodies and their surroundings. In this day and age, it is important to have a certain kind of a grounding on martial arts. Girls and boys both. A little bit. Of course, for girls it's slightly more difficult and it's less required, but sisters must disagree with me. Well, in fact, girls need a lot more martial art training these days in our society than boys. But martial art is not to attack someone. Let me get this right. Any physical training, whether you're learning boxing or jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, it's not to attack somebody. It's not to show, you get your shoulders out and chest out and you walk on the street like that. It's not that. It's to be aware of yourself and your surroundings. And when there is a requirement, your body is quickly aware of how to react. That's what these kind of arts are. It's not about showing your power to somebody who's weak. That's a coward. So just be careful. It's the responsibility of the father to teach his son especially these things. To make him learn reading and writing, teach our daughters at par with our sons in most things, especially in subjects of the world and religion. And at this stage in life, we have to impose the religious ethics in a nice manner. When I say impose is a strong word actually. To encourage them to do their salah. And the best teachers are the ones who practice themselves. I've said this umpteen number of times and you must have got bored of this. But if you don't do it, you can say 100 words, it won't work. If you don't do it yourself, don't expect a child to follow it. He will do it at his own convenience, or she will do it at her own convenience. Salawat ala Muhammad wa
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
So once the emotional strength is there in the child, he finds it or she finds it easier to take up stuff which you tell them. Because they have confidence in you, that you've befriended them. And once you start being harsh on them, that's when you lose the friendship. And what will happen then is, in this day and age especially, they will go to people who will show sympathy to them. And this can be very, very dangerous in our age, especially with the internet around. And also it can lead to children getting misled. Maybe not dangerous, but children can get misled by people who show sympathy for the wrong reasons sometimes. And they take them away from the faith. So once the child is 9 years of age, they should be made to offer salah. Especially for girls, it becomes wajib after the age of 9. But for boys as well, they don't have a free reign. They should be made to offer salah, even though it's not wajib for them. They should see you doing it, and you should ask them, come and join me, please. And if they don't do it, there should be some reprimand. Their playing time can be cut, something like that. Not harsh. Children will make mistakes, and some children are very, very naughty. And they make big mistakes. But you've got to address the mistake, not the child. The child has done the mistake. You tell them off for the mistake they made, not call them names. Not be harsh on them. Not give them a proper smacking. It doesn't work like that. All it will do is, it will backfire in the long run. So once the child is past 14, he's a youth now. And he or she deserves respect. Their self-worth needs to be respected. Their self-esteem needs to be given some thought. And you ought to treat them like a friend. You ought to make sure you have a healthy respect, but at the same time, you've got to be friendly with them. And being friendly can sometimes blur boundaries. Be very careful of that. What happens to us, most of us, especially men, fathers, is when they're amongst their friends, amongst their group, they're like lads. Talk all kinds of stuff, play around, The boundaries are not there because we are all amongst our peers. And then when you come to become a father at home, it doesn't, you become unnatural. Sometimes it happens. So the best way to deal with this is to be on your guard when you're with your friends as well. Don't lose your inhibitions there. You can still have a laugh. You can still all have a laugh. But behave the same way as you would like your child to be behaving when he was there. Don't lose it in such a manner that the child feels, oh, how's my dad behaving in front of his friends? It's a bit of a difference here. Or my mom for that matter. So, when a person is grown up, he's between 14 and 21, he's ready to face society, he's ready to take on responsibilities. Give them responsibilities. Take their advice if they want to give advice. And children, if you want to talk to your parents about certain things, be very respectful. You don't want to tell your dad what to do. Because dad is dad, or mom is mom. You don't want to tell them. You want to discuss with them. You want to say, I feel this is the way it would be better. What do you think? And similarly, this would come from parents. The way you speak to your children is how they will speak back to you. And if you have a friendly relationship with them, it will stand them in good stead in their life, in dealing with their peers, their bosses, their spouses, and inshallah when we are old, they will deal with us in a friendly manner. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Another thing that I wanted to share here is you all know all these things. I'm not trying to create something new after sliced bread. No. What we're trying to do is remind ourselves. Do not argue roughly with your spouses in front of children. Do not argue roughly with spouses. End of. Do not argue roughly with your colleagues at work. Because what happens is it builds a habit. And once the first crime is the biggest crime. Once you do the first crime, it's easier to do the second one. So I'm not talking about crimes as such, but the first mishap that when it happens is the hardest. You're scared. What's going to happen to me? There will be repercussions. Mom and dad are going to be upset. But once you've passed that and you've seen the reaction of your parents, it's easier to commit it the second time, unless it's been reined in properly. And that's where the challenge lies for parents with growing children. Teenagers need a lot of wisdom in handling them. Teenagers are going through a challenging time themselves. They are very conscious of themselves. They go to school, things are said to them and they feel it. They take it really into their heart. And they find it difficult to share it with anybody that what this person said to me at school, or what they think of my hairstyle, or what they think of my glasses, or whatever the case might be. What they think of my beard that is starting to grow. Somebody's ponytail is strange. So these things happen. Children, young boys and girls are very harsh on each other. We've all faced it. If you have a stable environment at home and you have a friendly relationship, your child is going to come and talk to you and cry in front of you. And you can support them and encourage them how to deal with it and not give them the confidence. All they want is, you probably don't have a solution. All they want is my dad to be on my side, my mom to be on my side. So they can go out tomorrow again. And when they face the situation again, they know that they can come back to mom and dad. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Now, as I was saying before, the biggest thing for us in life is contentment. Poor people, alhamdulillah, at least I can't call myself materially poor. I can't. There's no grounds for me to call myself poor materially. Allah has given me more than I deserve, more than I want. And most of us here are in a position where we have materially a lot of things. Makes us happy. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, shukrullah. But poor people are also happy. And it takes me back to the point of contentment. We need contentment in our hearts. Poor people are contented, then they're happy. If they're not contented, they'll strive for more, they'll struggle for more, they'll work more jobs, and people do that. And there's no harm in doing that, as long as it's done in the right manner. Allah gives in our hearts what is called sakina, tranquility, contentment. Once we get, this is a special favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once we get tranquility, life is sorted. We will focus on things which seem more important then. Like doing good for others. Even though we might not have a lot, we'll still do good for others. And people find it. I remember in my college days, one of my uncles told me, we should contribute to this person because he's doing a good job. He's poor, but he's doing a good investment for society. And I said, inshallah, I'll give more. We used to get pocket money from home for expenses and all that. And the thing was, we used to spend most of it in fun because the food was paid for. So the pocket money was just to spend on fun. So